We are recording.
Okay. Morning, everybody. We have David here. David, you want to talk a little bit about slashing?
Okay, yeah, I didn't know I was supposed to talk about slashing today, so.
Yes.
Okay, I don't have anything to say about it just yet.
Okay. Good.
Well, I was thinking the last time we talked about it, that was last week. We made a sort of this decision that slashing should only be done when there is faithfulness in the work instead of personal bit between a guide and worker.
Yes, so that we did covered in the last meeting, and I thought that you were going to follow up
The one I was
information, and I thought you might discuss it with DCKC, but we don't need to discuss it today if there's nothing new to report.
All right. Okay.
Okay. Vigo, you're a new member. You proposed a very interesting issue, two interesting issues. You want to start talking about the Rolang teaching program?
Yeah, so basically I just did my first meetup here in Bangkok, and there was rather low attendance, but it kind of dovetails into a broader issue as far as if this is going to succeed, there needs to be a large group of developers that at the very least understand Rolang, and it's a great segue into why RChain is important. So what I'm suggesting is that we kind of formalize a program to select and recruit teachers, and then verify over time that they're recruiting students and providing a template kind of similar to the meetup in a box, but just focused on Rolang and kind of doing one-on-one with prospective developers, and then outreach to other meetups and groups like Ethereum and EOS groups to try and bring them into this project.
Okay.
So I have a question. First of all, welcome from Bangkok. The time there must be pretty bad.
Yeah, it's midnight.
Okay, well that midnight's not too bad. So is this a discussion phase for the project? Is the issue filed as a discussion issue, or how are you looking at August and September?
Well, it's in the GitHub bounties page with the discussion tag, if that's what you mean.
Well, I was more wondering how you're imagining this will proceed, starting with August, starting with September.
How I would approach it?
I think.
Yeah, or if you want
Vigo
suggestions, you can ask for suggestions, whatever.
Yeah, well, it's such we're quickly seeing that it's such a niche issue that there's really a limited number of groups of people that are going to understand this really at all, and they're going to be found in computer science programs, computer engineering programs, and in the case of some regions of the world, we have really a sparse number of members. So I'm basically starting from scratch as far as marketing the program.
So let me ask you, are you directing it at university level, like colleges or high schools, or what level are you?
It would be university level.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, can I?
Yeah, David, you can describe the project at your university.
Okay.
David?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think I'm personally drawn to this issue. It's one very interesting issue. As a developer, I've observed that the strength of every programming language, it's community and its teaching program. One of the reasons why the packages and products of Google are very common and popular is that Google has several. Alan, can you hear me? You look like
yes, you're good. You're good.
Okay, so Google has several products and training, especially free training, offered to a lot of persons that are willing to learn the various frameworks and products that they have to offer. And so it has so much led to an explosion in the number of persons that are handy or technical in using this product. So I believe something similar could be done to Rolang and the whole of the RChain platform. Now, in the issue, I stated the work we've been doing in Africa, the meetups, the work study, and also what we've been doing with several universities. Now, this month, we're supposed to have another meetup in the University of Calabar, but we're sort of experiencing some bottlenecks. We don't know exactly whether or not it's still going to take place. Then as regarding the proposal, Vigo, I would suggest it's not just restricted to university. It's something that whoever is willing to learn Rolang, running Iron nodes, being a validator, or whatever, should be able to come on board and learn. So that's why I'm really very interested about it. If RChain, if no matter how good RChain is, no matter the quality of the products we're offering, if there are not so many developers that are good with writing smart contracts in RChain, in Rolang, in running Iron nodes, then it's almost as good as nothing, as I can say. So that's my point. So that's just what I wanted to suggest. So it should go beyond just universities or university students.
Yeah, I would just say I'm not suggesting a restriction. I'm just suggesting that that's where we kind of focus a lot of the effort, because these are the people that are going to be getting jobs shortly after. And then there's the practical issue of how do you find how do you recruit students into this? Just put up a sign on the street and then hope that some of the people that walk by are software developers that are into blockchain. So a university is going to be a concentration right there. And then, for other users, there's the meetup. But in the case of the meetup that I had just a week ago, the only person that came was a local university student who had found the meetup and messaged me. And the rest of the RSVPs actually didn't show up. So it was kind of disappointing. So really, I think what we're touching on is, just turning this into a consistent and systematic program beyond just the meetup, because the meetup only really scratches the surface.
Yeah, so we've been getting a lot of.
Go ahead, David. Sorry.
Okay, so like I was saying, over here, I think the software community is very much more interested in learning new things, and even university students, from my experience, I've come to discover that a lot of people who are even working at software jobs, who have jobs as PHP developers, JavaScript developers, Java developers, they're more that by learning a new language, they should be able to secure. Many university students are not yet aware of that because they're more concerned with just reading their books and passing their exams. But it depends. But I think as much as we're going to place so much emphasis on university students, also the software community should not be left out.
David, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
I have some concerns around what Vigo and David are saying. So far, have you been able to kind of examine the challenges some of these students could likely be facing with regards to learning Rolang? I know sometimes students get so busy with so many things, and then there could be some challenges of a kind that we advise them from learning. No, it's not all about learning it, but it's all about following it up and then having. You cannot compare someone who just learned something because of that knowledge and then learning in order to make the knowledge practical. So what we need is pragmatic knowledge, and then people learning it and not just learning and then that's all. Then we can get them on board. And, that's the kind of question I have. Like, what are the challenges students do face?
Okay, Victor, I think that question, we should be directing the question to you because from my understanding, I believe to give us the challenges that students face, that you could use yourself as an example, the challenges you're facing in learning Roland.
Okay, thank you. Hello, David. Can you hear me?
Yes, Victor, we can hear you. Can you describe
Okay.
what you're doing with Roland?
Yeah,
actually,
yes.
For a very good number of time, I've been quite busy with some things. I've become so many things on my mind. But of recent, I decided to set up my R node network. Though I'm not kind of familiar with the programming language, but I've already had a quest and the enthusiasm to learn Roland. And then I had difficulty setting up the Node 6. And I was trying to go through the YouTube to see, if there was a guide. I really didn't see any kind of guide because I personally believe in getting knowledge by myself. Going to people and asking for help isn't important, but I really believe that whatever knowledge I need, I will be able to get it on the internet. So that's one of the basic challenges I have. I setting up the nodes, but I think this is a discussion I will be discussing later on outside the meeting. It's not going to be something I would like to you later.
Victor, I think that David specifically has been working on getting our nodes set up, information out through Colab. David, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So how come Victor isn't aware or couldn't find the resources that you're offering?
Okay, Victor, are you very frequent at Colab? I think I've seen
David, yes, that was in the last meeting you had. I was there, and I've been in Colab, but like I told you, just some engagement. I've not really, though I have it as a plan that I'm going to settle down and learn it. And by this September, I've kind of fully fleshed out my time to start learning Roland, running the nodes, and then getting acquainted with.
Okay, something else you can.
And I believe that maybe you can send me a link that will help me.
Yes. So I'm going to paste the name of the channel in the chat, so you could just subscribe to the channel. Then you get to see daily work study. Just subscribe to it's a YouTube channel, BV Dow. So once you subscribe, you get to see our daily work study.
Okay, that would be nice. Thank you.
Okay, are there other people that have something to say about professional software developers learning Roland versus university students? Can we include both?
Yeah, we should absolutely be including both.
Yeah, we obviously should be including both. It shouldn't be restricted to either side. It should be both. I think it will be better.
Jim, I think you have something to say.
Oh, I just wanted to say that most of our videos are unlisted. Okay, you have to go to the notes document or the channels to find the video links for the work studies.
So Jim and Vigo and David, I have a suggestion. The RChain unofficial worldwide community blog is a great place for advertising this and many, many other things about RChain. Please write articles. We promised 10 articles by the end of August. That's 3 days away. Need articles.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Hello, Ellen. Hello. Ellen.
Who's this?
Can you hear me?
Yes, but I don't see your name. or
It's
face.
it's miraculous. It's Victor.
Hi, Victor.
Hello. Ellen, it's Victor.
Hi, Victor.
Is there any review going around the articles there? Because I was able to go to the website. I saw an article and I was kind of, though it was wonderful, it had good in content in it, but I have concerns is how the review, who is reviewing these articles? Like,
we have an editorial staff, but
of the article.
Victor, can we just yield the time to the discussion of the Rolang teaching program first? And there's an agenda item below that that would be more appropriate for this.
Sure.
Vigo, do you want to just summarize where we are and what more you'd like to see out of this discussion?
Yeah, I would just like to see turning this into a formal program, just identifying teachers who or candidates to become teachers in different part of the world and scheduling classes and advertising them throughout the co-op to software developers and to students.
So maybe, well, first of all, that would be another great subject for an article. But also maybe you could start a document where you have an outline of how you think it should go. I've found that comment mode works well if there's a single author that's responsible for the article, or you can have it let everybody edit if that's more suitable. So either of those two modes for Google Docs works well.
Okay, yeah, I think we can, I guess, move on from this issue now.
Okay. Do you want to? So the next, Jim, yeah.
Yeah, I figured out what it was that I wanted to talk about, the Digital Life Collective. And
okay, so this topic is now Digital Life Collective. It's at the top. Go ahead.
It's with respect to issue 831, add the RChain digital to the Digital Life Collective system network map. Now I'm very much involved in the Digital Life Collective.
Could you describe it a little bit?
It's a sort of blockchain agnostic, decentralized tech advocacy group. And one of the things they've done is they've mapped all these decentralized projects. And they like to get somebody official from the project to add themselves to the map. But you can, there's all kinds of ways you can sort this by keywords and other things. But I'll just choose one at random here. But you know, each project has a page and they have links and sometimes videos and other things about the project. They really want somebody who's officially associated with the project.
Are you not officially associated with the project?
Yeah, I'm not staff. I don't have an email address in the co-op. I guess I guess I could address this with them, but I've
well, especially if it's decentralized advocacy, it seems like looking for an official spokesman might be inappropriate for a lot of groups.
Yeah, but I'm hoping to get this that we get this submitted. If somebody wants to take the initiative to do it, that would be great. I guess even if they're not official, I tagged Kenny and Patrick on this, but they haven't
Responded yet.
responded on it.
So is there somebody in this meeting who wants to stand up and volunteer? Trench float, is that something that you might be interested in seeing through, or who else might be interested in that? Call for volunteers.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess because I'm so close.
Okay, I think Trench Float can't speak, but he said he volunteered.
Awesome.
So how about this? Let's me and Trench Float and me take that up, and also Owens, and we can start a DM group or communicate afterwards in some way, unless there's something that we want to do right now. Okay. Is there anything more, Jim, that you'd like to get out of that or say about Digital Life Collective? Otherwise,
yeah, they're also leading the social ledger effort, which I'm hoping a lot of folks were interested in months ago. We started a trial. We didn't have the facilitation. It uses Mattermost, and we went to Discord instead. I am looking to, I mean, the social ledger is out there. It's everything about us. It's going to be on RChain. The software just connects the things we say and do together, which is really, and gives us control over this ledger rather than having Google and Facebook and all these people have all this information about us and what we do.
Okay, so maybe you can paste some links and we can follow up by looking at it, unless somebody is familiar with it already.
There's a social ledger channel in the collab. Gary was going to take the lead on it. It hasn't been very active, but that's where the activity will be. And
okay. All right. So paste the link to collab. And if we're done with that, I'm sorry I'm moving quickly because we need to finish everything. We can come back if there's more. Vigo, do you want to speak about rolling in routers? What's that all about?
Okay, yeah. So this is a project that I've been kicking around a little bit in private, and I've got so many things going on that I turned it into a ticket to just put our presentation materials onto GitHub. And basically, we're thinking about, blockchains. We spend so much time thinking about blockchains as this very abstract thing. It's running in a cloud somewhere, and not so much focusing on, hardware devices or how this would directly improve some practical problem. And so a big issue that's been in focus lately has been embedded systems and router security. There have been some pretty bad worms or viruses that attacked router firmware because these devices, they can't run a hugely complex antivirus because they're an embedded system, right? So our thinking was, well, we've already seen one group running RNode on an ARM processor, so we know it works. And that's, of course, the point of Java, right? Our thinking is that twofold, and Jim brought up another point that I've added on here, is basically using RNode to control the configuration management on an OpenWRT router. And so the propagation of commands and control of the router occurs through the blockchain as opposed to through SSH or through the management interface, and then close all of those management interfaces to make the device more secure. And then Jim brought up the issue of DNS being another, and the distributed name system being another area where the router could benefit from RChain and improve the overall security of the system. So I'm looking for people interested in that project. It got a pretty strong response, or pretty good response from just the people I've spoken with. And I think this is a good opportunity for a promotion to kind of get more nodes up, and to run them on a reasonably secure platform where you can have just a node in a box. The router that I talk about in the presentation, it's a dual core 1.7 gigahertz, so it should be able to run our node with no performance hit to the other services running on the router.
Anybody want to comment before I do? It sounds really cool. I'd like to see that getting viewed by a lot more people. It sounds like an interesting idea.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea. It's not obscenely difficult, but it dovetails into all of these other areas where once we have some inertia behind this, we can get a large amount of one thing that's been brought up is firmware whitelisting. You have these known good configurations of up-to-date firmware, because most of the hacks were just out-of-date firmware or default passwords. So if you're committing these known firmware configurations to the blockchain, then you have this library now. So we're starting with one piece of hardware so that we can just focus on one configuration at first.
Does anybody have some comments? I think maybe not everybody's familiar with routers and what they do and so on. So maybe some of your documentation is an introduction, and also yeah. So is it clear to everybody what Vigo is talking about putting firmware into routers that's blockchain based?
Okay.
Okay. Are there any other questions about the routers?
Okay, well, I guess anyone interested in this project knows how to contact me, and yeah, I'll probably should move on to the next thing then.
Okay. So I put the RChain unofficial worldwide community blog, and I want to.
Sorry, I wanted to ask Vigo what his handle is on Discord.
Yeah, I'll put that in the chat here.
Okay.
Okay, more questions? Okay, so the purpose of this blog is to have, well, first of all, the purpose for this group, I think it will serve as a very good medium for you to advertise issues, so that when it comes time to budgeting and rewards, that you have the support of the community, because they'll understand it better. Yeah. Let me just open the floor to discussions on just that point, and we'll talk about other purposes for the blog. How do people feel about using it to advertise Digital Life Collective or stuff about routers or anything else that they're working on, in order to make the community at large more knowledgeable and voters more knowledgeable.
I fully support it. I mean, there's many more things I can enter. I think if everybody just entered something, it could help build the momentum there. I have entered a couple things, and I think that it's a great medium. It supports, I guess, Donald has set up, tons of plugins for voting and for doing meetups and all kinds of things we could take advantage of. Unlike Discord, where conversations are just lost, you can have longer term, more permanent type activities. It's I think it would be good if we all use it.
Owens, you've got an article and you're an editor. Do you want to describe what editors do and how you wrote your article and how that experience was?
Owens can specialize. She's on transit.
Yeah, I think Owen's
Owen's on mute.
not in a position to talk right now. She's not in a position to talk, I believe.
She's on transit. She's like in a transport or so.
Okay, that's fine. I just posted the link. It's just unofficial
Alan,
RChain.world.
Okay. Okay, I can't see the link here.
It's actually the landing page that I see doesn't have the nice. We're still in alpha. So recent posts, there should be a nice landing page that's got story mag. So it's going to look like a magazine filled with stories, and you can click on any of the articles. There's a welcome page that I wrote. There's an article by Owens that you can click on. You can only see it below. But I think that the look is nice, and I think that I'm hoping that we'll get articles on everything about the cooperative. People have all sorts of opinions. There's all sorts of news. Because it's unofficial, people can write articles without worrying that they're speaking officially on behalf of the co-op. They can write what they know about, even if they're not an employee or whatever. It'll be good for discussions. And particularly in this campaign season, when there are proposals and voting for directors, I'm hoping that this will become a great stage for people to start their own blogs, and just speak as they want to about things that are going on. One more thing.
All right, Alan, I wanted to know, is it okay? Is it compulsory? It has to be original articles, or we could get articles from, let's say, Medium, and then take it to your blog?
No, it's for original articles, but you're welcome to take articles and comment on them. So, for instance, you can, by the copyright law, you're welcome to take anything and post a few sentences or a short paragraph. And in my opinion, this can work very, very well with people that have been doing translations in the past, because often there's a long article that's or a long piece that's being translated. But it's only a few of the paragraphs or a few of the comments that are most of interest. And you can just translate those in line and write commentary explaining the document that you're translating or interested in. And the point is to get wisdom from around the world. The point is to get wisdom from people from different walks of life, wisdom from people in different countries. You can use, you can just paste dual language stuff in line, and you can tell stories about what life is like on the ground. What does RChain mean to you? What does this article mean to you in terms of daily life in a particular environment? So I'm sorry, if I go on, I'm just going to talk about how wonderful I think it's going to be, and it's not there yet.
Yeah, can I say something now?
Please.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting idea, very welcome. Like, we can never have enough blogs. We can't have enough websites. We can't have enough forums to talk about RChain. We just need as many as we can get. So it's really a very welcome idea, and I believe I might want to do a show blog. But I'm a little concerned. I don't think there's a need to put unofficial beside the name, because it might appear to some persons as sort of a spam or something. So
exactly.
So,
David, what you say is quite on point. I was just trying to figure out the unofficial in the name. It's somehow somehow.
Well, no, I don't think that's a problem. It's an unofficial RChain blog. I think many other companies like that too, because of course there's an official RChain blog. So saying it's unofficial, it doesn't really I don't see a problem in that. I think it's appropriate enough. I don't know.
and Andrew, you're missing the point. The point is that for you as an RChain member and the node and that is aware of the blog, it might not look somehow to you, but it's the integrity of the blog might come to be questioned if a new member.
David, how about this? I think that we can address that by putting, as Victor said, a link to the official blog right on the front page so that people know where they can find official information, and then they'll have some context. The unofficialness is a very good thing in the following sense, that somebody can speak there on behalf of the co-op without having to be an official representative of the co-op.
Okay.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Okay, I wanted to say, Alan, I think another way to drive traffic, people who post up articles, I think they could reference the unofficial blog at the end of their articles. They could reference it for like to get more information or to see this stuff. They could reference a link from your forum in their article. I think that will also drive traffic to the forum.
That's very nice. I actually wanted to state that it's been the concern of the marketing team to have people redirect people from the articles they're reading to the main blog. And then that was really, like, as of last week, we discovered that there was an increase actually in the blog, the reads, the people, the traffic, because of some of the places where RChain was being represented. They had to redirect them to the blog. So that's it. I also have some other concerns with regards to people that create this article. It would be lovely to have them come together, maybe as a working group, working group. Everybody comes up with this idea. If there is an article you have, maybe you could be having some challenges developing it. You could have a good idea, and maybe you have been working on an article, but you seem to be lacking information. So the group will be like to help each other get source out knowledge that will be useful to create quality content that will be that when you read, you get good information.
Victor, that sounds like a great idea. Trench Float, can you add a to-do item for me and Victor to have that group, get that a group like that going, and to post it, to advertise it? And also, can you give me a to-do item to follow up on David's suggestion and make sure that we post the official blog prominently, so that that will give some context to people as far as, it's not spam. Or if they think it's spam, they can go to the official blog. So Alan will create
nice.
group and post. And Andrew, your name doesn't show up. Victor, your name doesn't show up, and I can't see you guys, so I don't know sometimes who I'm talking to. I apologize for getting the wrong person if it's the wrong person.
It's okay. It's okay. It's all right.
Okay, I want to make one more plug for this. Go ahead, David. Finish.
Yeah, I was saying. I was thinking Jim wanted to say something. Jim, you started talking before you interrupted.
Yeah, I was just saying that one of the things that would help a lot, this to me is really the worldwide community and getting people involved, including the public involved, getting people to join, as well as a useful tool for themselves. I mean, we can create categories that are members only, but this is largely an outreach. And I think it would be good, when we're posting an article in the blog, to tweet it or advertise it on Facebook. It's, getting readers for an article can, bring somebody in to start to look at the other thing and participate in other areas. So the key thing, you can bring people into very specific articles. If you don't want to write an article, you can see something interesting on the blog. You can tweet about it, share it in your social networks, and create some momentum.
Whoever is subscribing, can you please write in detail what Jim just said and assign me and Jim or whoever to take that up as blog marketing, and maybe marketing is not even the right word, outreach or whatever. But I'll take that as a to-do item. Okay. More about the unofficial blog, and then I want to talk about the Invoices app and the dynamic voting guide.
Okay, Alan, I think I now have a better understanding of the I'm sort of uncomfortable adding that unofficial tag to the blog. So I guess we might have a follow-up. We will have a follow-up discussion after.
Okay.
After the
so David, I've also heard this. I would say that most people, 80%, think that unofficial is great because it offers them the opportunity to participate without having to get buy-off from official people at RChain. A few people have the same idea, the same question as you do, and I think we're going to subtitle it. It was suggested to me that the subtitle should be, or that an alternative name could be RChain News Worldwide, and we're trying to use that as a subtitle.
I think that's much better.
Okay.
Okay, can I say something?
Yes, Owens?
Okay, I just got down from the boss. So unofficial, I think it's quite self-explanatory. Just I see it as off the record. for things concerning RChain, but not really disassociated with RChain. But unofficial sits fine with me, but anyone, any decision is okay by me, though.
There's also the possibility that we can have a rebranding contest at some point in time. You know, that was what my reaction to this discussion that I've had with others as well is, yeah, maybe we might want to position it a little bit differently. And at some point we might want to have a rebranding contest or something where we solicit for new names. Also, talking about contests, I'm sorry I didn't have time. I'll post an issue today. The first contest is going to be articles on how RChain changed my life. So I've heard a lot of people talk about that, and we'll turn that into an articles contest. And we'll have other contests as well. Go ahead.
That's nice. I said that's nice. That's nice. That's a good one.
Okay, I apologize. For lack of time, I'm going to cut this one short. Just want to report progress on the invoice app. It's designed to simplify and speed invoice processing. We also have a specific goal of making the process and the code simple enough to be auditable by non-programmers. TrenchFloat, you've got an issue for reviewing the Rolang tutorial, and when I get time, which better be soon, I want to create another sub task, if you guys are wanting to accept it, to do a code review and a process review, because you know you'll bring a set of eyes that are not necessarily technically oriented. Our goal is to have this system operating in parallel to the existing system by August. I've posted a link to the progress that we've made. Are there any comments so far?
Okay, by the progress, you're talking about your the document, right?
Yes. The document is an overview of the system, how it will work, how the code works, and it should be understandable to everybody. That's our goal in that particular document that I just posted.
All right then.
Trench, can you assign me the issue of posting in the other issue, the review of Rolang? I'll do that. If there are more comments, then, just please contact me offline. Go ahead, David. Sorry.
Okay, sir. You could assign me a to-do of the unofficial blog. So I think I'm getting more interested in it. I'd like to work with Alan on it.
Okay, awesome. That'll be great. That's a good segue into the dynamic voting guide. So I posted a dynamic voting guide in the issue in the unofficial blog, and I want to discuss that a little bit. The purpose of the dynamic voting guide is to bring more information to voters, to be able to see at the beginning what the resources are, what the ideas are, what the metrics are that we assign to ourselves, and so on. So teams could use it. If it's a good idea, teams can modify that. They can do whatever they like with it. And the example that I have posted above, I also put in a request for patience and understanding. The three of us that have been most working on this have spent an enormous amount of time. We have little to show for it except for a promise that we're going to continue to work on it and bring it to fruition in the future. But we'd like in this voting period to be treated fairly. So I've written that into the spreadsheet. That's the dynamic voting guide. We'll update the voting guide, but please take a look at it, not only in the context of this particular issue, but how you might use it in your issues, or what suggestions that you have for, for how useful it is. Any questions about that or ideas? We have 2 or 3 more minutes. Maybe nobody's had a chance to read them. So maybe if you have comments or questions, you can comment in the article or
That was posted somewhere, or is just in the issue? I didn't.
It's not in the issue yet. It's the example above in the discussion of the unofficial blog. It says request for budget support for budget, and let me copy that and paste it down here.
Is it in the note? It's in the notes. Okay.
I'll just copy it again. Okay, are there any questions?
Okay, I think the dynamic.
So it's dynamic in the sense that it's intended that, for me anyway, the issues that I'm involved in, I'd like to post at the very beginning what the goals are, what kinds of metrics, what the general budget is, and then update it as we accomplish different things, and as budgets may change dramatically as people work a lot or a little or don't do anything, that kind of thing.
Yeah, what I was going to say was that the dynamic voting guide is very useful, especially for team projects where more than one person is working on a particular task or project. So it could provide a real good help. I've taken a look at the document, at the spreadsheets rather. It's really, really useful in team projects and team activities.
I'm sorry, I can't find the document. I don't see a link in the notes. Or
there's 2 links to it. One I just put
Alan,
in. Very
could you please post the link here, please?
Oh, at the bottom.
It's there. It's twice.
Okay.
Okay, let's take more discussion about this to the next meeting, and we'll end it here unless anybody has anything that needs to get covered right now. Okay, if we're done, thanks everybody for joining, and we'll see you soon next week.
Thank you.